Open up your heart and let your soul be free to love. Remember love.
If you show me, I will do it. Baby, if you teach me how to love you, I will do it. All the pain you've been through, I refuse to take you through it. Baby, if you teach me how to love you, I will do it. I promise I'll prove it. Such a alien pain.
What's up, cousins? It's your boy, your bro, your favorite cousin, DJ the Singer, and I'm back with another review. Before we jump into this review, if you're returning, I want to say welcome back. If you're brand new, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button. Go ahead and share this video with your social media circles. And while you're at it, go ahead and turn those notifications on so you can be the first to be notified when I drop new videos. I also want to tell y'all that before we get into this review, if you haven't seen the film, I will be dropping some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch it and then come back to this video. So over the weekend, I got an opportunity to watch the brand new Noah's Ark film. For those of you that are not familiar with what Noah's Ark is outside of the Bible, Noah's Ark is a groundbreaking, innovative television show that aired on the Logo channel, if you know, you know, back in 2005, and the show was created by Mr. Patrick Ian Polk. The show Noah's Ark was literally the first of its kind. The best way that I could explain it is it's the gay version of Girlfriends. It centers around four men, Noah, Alex, Ricky, and Chance, the Ark, and their lives living in LA. Think of the show as almost a mix between Girlfriends and Sex and the City, just unapologetically gay and black. Not only was the show representation, but it was trendy. And with style and humor, the show tackled real life issues that gay men often face, such as HIV, discrimination, coming out, gay marriage, acceptance. Noah's Ark didn't just tell stories, but it made space for people who were not often invited to the table. The show also created a lane for shows that we love now, such as Pose and P-Valley. Noah's Ark walked so those shows could run. The show had 2 seasons and ran from 2005 to 2006. And then they came out with a feature film called Jumping the Broom back in 2008. And during the global pandemic, they had a short film that aired on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Now let's get into this film because listen, whether you're a longtime fan like me or if you're brand new to the Ark, I will tell you this film does have something for everybody. For starters, the film opens up with Noah on set. The first face you see when the film starts is Eva Marcel. Some of us know her as Eva Pickford from America's Next Top Model. And I will also say throughout the film, you do see some familiar faces. T.S. Madison, T.C. Carson from Living Single makes a cameo appearance in this. Also, Jasmine Guy from A Different World makes an appearance in this film. So you're definitely going to have some visual surprises throughout the film. Another thing, everybody from the original cast has returned for this film. Noah is literally at the top of his game in his film career. And he has been summoned by Queen Beyonce to write a script for a film that she's producing about her Uncle Johnny's life. And so what this gave me, this little nugget in the film gave me that this event took place roughly within the last 2 to 3 years, roughly around the release of the Renaissance album. And so, spoiler alert, at the end of the film, we don't know what happens with that. We don't know what the results are of the submitted script that Noah has pitched to her camp. So again, I believe that at the end of this film, especially based off of the way that it ended, I believe that there's going to be either another series to follow this film or there's going to be another film following this. Paramount, go ahead and write your check so we can get it. Wade has accepted an offer to be the top A&R at a record label, and his artist that he has been put in charge of basically taking care of is in and out of jail. We find out some very interesting things about his character. His mom was killed when he was young. He never knew his dad. His grandmother raised him until he was 11. He was in and out of juvie for years, at least 20 times what he said in the film. He has a young son, but the son's mother has a domestic violence case on him. And so that has resulted in a restraining order. And so him being in and out of trouble, all he's trying to do is make a life for him and his son. And Noah at first kind of has some quarrels with him, but when he gives him a chance and finally discovers like he's literally just like you and me, he just has he's basically had the system against him since he came into the world. It's really beautiful to see their relationship unfold. Wade and Noah are also preparing for the arrival of their twins, which, spoiler alert, comes with a very interesting surprise. At the end of the film, you'll just have to watch it. You'll just have to watch it. I will just tell you, stay on your tiptoes because it's definitely a placenta and a plot twist. In the film, we also see the evolution of Alex and Trey's relationship, transitioning from a monogamous gay couple into parenthood. They now are raising a non-binary teenager who uses they and them pronouns. And it's just really interesting to watch them transition into this next phase of life, going from being a teenager into early adulthood. Watching their relationship reminds me a lot of mine, being a eclectic, eccentric teenager. I remember just kind of feeling like nobody understood me. You're ruining my life, that whole thing. And people telling me you don't have a life to ruin. You don't even know who you are yet. And I always knew who I was. They just didn't know. But it just kind of shines light on the dynamic of their relationship and how they bump heads. But eventually, towards the end of the film, they do come back together. And they do meet at a common space. Another thing that I found to be interesting about Alex's character this time around, when we first were introduced to Alex, Alex was this out loud and proud, loud, flaming gay man. And he was extremely opinionated, extremely hands-on and involved with his friends. But in this particular film, we have seen Alex kind of dial it down a little bit. And although we do see Alex return to his drag queen persona, LaChante Devereaux, we also, he's more supportive, he's more understanding, he's more submissive, if anything. And he also left the clinic to open up a club dedicated to the drag queens that came before him. Now, I want to jump into Chance and Eddie. Some relationships stand the test of time, and in this instance, some do not. Spoiler alert, Eddie and Chance are now officially separated. And Eddie introduces the concept of possibly an open relationship. Now, I don't knock anybody who chooses to engage in polyamory, or if they decide to open their relationship up to other people, other partners. Do you? If it makes you happy, makes you glad, I applaud you, knock it out the park. But for me, if we got to do all that, we might as well be hoes. We might as well be hoes and do it together. You know, we can be friends and we can go reel them in together. And so that to me is the breakdown of their relationship. One detail that I wish the film had kind of given us is kind of the backstory of how they got there. They kind of left it up to the viewer's interpretation. And so what I got from it is that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Eddie called Chance a slut, and then next thing you know, Eddie has a heart attack at work and he dies. And we see Chance move into the dating space as a older, more seasoned gay man who is not accustomed to the apps, who's not accustomed to social media as we know it. You know, he's from the era of you go to a bar, you meet a guy, you say hi, you introduce yourself, maybe exchange a number. I may see you next Wednesday. You know, this new era of social media is something that he's not accustomed to. And so watching him not just grieve the loss of his husband, but watch him move into that new space and pretty much start his life all over again is really interesting to watch. I really love the development of his character as well as his storyline. Let me go ahead and prepare you guys for another spoiler alert. Now, while there are some people who are out here starting over, there are those that are out here that are finally trying to get it right. Last but not least, we have to talk about Ricky. We have to talk about Ricky. I will tell you, at the beginning of this film, I really thought that Ricky was going to... At the beginning of this film, sorry guys, you probably hear airplanes and helicopters flying over my apartment. If you know what's going on, you know, and yes, I'm nervous as hell. But with Ricky, I really thought that the film was going to expose that Ricky had a partner and he had finally settled down. But we see the film open up with Ricky and Junito leaving the club on a motorcycle, and they go home, they do the do, and then Junito says he's flying back to Canada. Well, spoiler alert, we also find out in this film that Ricky is up to some of his old ways, because Ricky is not sure how long he's going to live, because he finds out that he has testicular cancer. And he has an option to either do radiation or they're going to remove one of his testicles. And he confides in Noah, but Noah eventually, this becomes a little too heavy for Noah, and he eventually spills the beans to Junito. And Junito comforts Ricky by letting him know, we have one of the best physicians in Canada, you gotta come. And that's what I mean. It's situations like that that lead me to believe that there has to be another series or another film to pick up where this one left off. I'm just curious to know what's going on. Jasmine Guy plays the role of a nanny in this film, and what she basically does is she gives these, y'all remember in early childhood development, you had the electronic baby that you had to carry around with you around the school all day, and the baby would randomly cry, and you'd have to, you know, take a bottle and do the things. Well, they have two, because like I said, they're expecting twins, and so they literally are going about this parenthood thing, trying to get acclimated to what life is gonna be like when these babies get here. You know, it's no longer going to be hot, steamy, late night rendezvous, and you know, we can just pack up and go on trips or pop up over at our friend's house when we feel like it. No, we are responsible for the lives of two, spoiler alert, now 3 beautiful babies, and our lives are going to drastically change. Another spoiler, you have, I don't know if I want to tell y'all this part. I think I'm gonna say, no, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all since I done told y'all everything else. There's this stripper at the end of the film. I'm not gonna tell all the details. I'm not gonna tell you all of it, but I will tell you there's this stripper that they potentially consider to be the nanny. I'll leave it at that. You gotta watch the film. You gotta watch the film. Now, I wanna get into what this film actually gave. The film, for starters, the chemistry that was there from the very beginning, I felt it with this film. I felt like these were people that I actually know. I felt like this was an actual friend group. I felt like if anything happened to any of these people in real life, because I don't know if I told y'all, like I used to have the DVDs, I still have them. But when I first got the DVDs, like I was hiding the DVDs underneath my mattress. Like I had to creep to watch this show, okay? Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm a preacher's kid, came up in a very Baptist household. My parents did not play that, okay? So, I have a real connection with these people. Not in real life, but just watching this show, I have a real connection with these people. And I just felt like even finding out about Eddie, like that was an emotional part of the film for me. Like watching his love story with Chance and just watching Chance go through the grieving process. Whenever you lose someone, that's already a challenging thing. But going back and listening to old voicemails and looking at old videos. I remember when my father passed from liver cancer, like that was me for probably the first year and a half, 2 years. Like I was listening to old voicemails and watching old videos, just reminiscing. So this is definitely one of those ones. You definitely get highs, you get comedic moments. You're definitely going to laugh watching this film. But depending on where you are in your life, you definitely may shed a tear or two. You definitely may have those moments where you're like, dang, I remember going through this with my own parents, or dang, I remember feeling like this, with my baby mama, or feeling like I just had to have every piece of person that I came in contact with. Like I said from the very beginning, there's something in this film for everybody. I also love how they represented the different faces of the gay community very well. One thing that happens in the community, people shame you for getting older. Once you surpass the age of 30, you're basically considered a dinosaur. And one thing that was said in the film is that oftentimes gay men don't live past 40. They don't live to see old age. They don't find love. They don't get married. They don't have forever love stories. And so I loved how they pointed that aspect out. And while it's a hushed conversation, this film definitely is going to be a conversation starter for sure. I loved how they focused on HIV and STD prevention in this film. I know people love to do that, and you know what I mean, where they're just like, oh, gay people just, they're dirty and they carry diseases and That's so far from the truth. Anybody can get an STD. Go get you a shot, a pill, a soda. Make sure you eat before you take it, and go take a nap. You'll be fine. I also was a fan of the production, the clarity, the quality. Anything that Patrick Ian Polk signs his name to is going to be quality. I don't care what it is. So I expected nothing less. Now, of course, with every positive, there has to be a negative. And to be completely honest, I didn't have any negatives with this film. Not really. I didn't have any real critiques other than I wanted to get a little bit more insight as to how Eddie and Chance ended up being separated. But then again, like I said at the beginning of the review, sometimes you can have too many details, and those details will completely take you on an endless journey, and next thing you know, we're living this thing called life. So I honestly didn't have any real critiques for this film. I will point out, if there was a moment that I could have made more realistic, there's a scene in the film where Wade's artist and Olivia, Trey and Alex's daughter, who, if you remember in the early seasons, OJ, if you know, you know, is on TikTok live, all goo-goo-eyed as Wade's artist is rolling a blunt. Now, I don't know, nor do I care what anybody does with their child. My thing is, as long as the children, the pedestrians, the animals, and the handicap are safe and okay, hey, do you. But as for me, growing up in my Christian household, in my role as being a and B student of a preacher and a former assistant principal, oh no, it's just not gonna happen. And so, to see how that turned out, I would have liked to see something a little bit more realistic, but I understand if Patrick was trying to keep it light. So, but I didn't have any real critique for this film, which is rare for me. I love the adoration and acknowledgement of Diana Ross, the boss, and that has been a constant mention throughout the series. They love them some Diana Ross, the boss, okay? And so I love how they carried that little detail over into the film. One thing that I love about film as a whole, film and character development, those little details matter. And I love a creator, a director, a producer that will take minor details from a series and carry it over. I am excited to see what's gonna come next. I wanna know, are we gonna get a film? Are we going to get a TV series? Are we gonna get a Netflix special? You know, is it gonna be a YouTube series, that we have to subscribe to watch? I'm so invested. I'm so invested. Now, what I would like to see, I'm seeing everybody coming back with these movies. You know, we got Sex in the City that has 11 movies. I understand Mara Brock Akil wants $5 million and some change to do this Girlfriends film. But are we really going to the movies to watch that? Or would we rather watch it on Netflix? I just feel like for all of these other series to have a resurgence in the year of 2025, Girlfriends is long overdue. So Patrick, if in some way, form, or fashion, you can be a part of that project, I don't care if you merge Noah's Ark and Girlfriends, and it can be Girlfriends Ark with Noah. I don't care. Just give it to us. We want to see it. And it's the same with this series. Give it to us. We want to see it. We're invested. Let's see if Paramount is going to roll out the budget for them to do another film. I would love to see it. I would give this a solid 9.5. It's a really good film. It takes a lot to hold my attention. And the fact that I did not blink an eye the entire film, let that sink in. That will tell you a whole lot about me and just how I consume, whether it be media, music, literature. It's gotta capture me. And from the first couple of seconds of the film, I was captured. So great job to not just Patrick, but the entire cast, staff, crew. Great job. I definitely enjoyed this film. But I also want to know what you guys think down in the comments. What would you like to see come next? Would you like a spin-off series? Would you like to know what happens with just Noah and Wade? Would you like to know what happens with Ricky's chemo treatments, if he decides to even go that route? You know, what does the dating life of Chance look like? What happens with the relationship with Trey and Alex and their non-binary daughter? You know, I want to know from you guys. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to come from this particular film? Again, my name is DJ the Singer. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Leave me a comment down below. Like this video. Share it with your social media circles. Turn on your notifications so you can be the first to be notified when I do new videos. And if nothing else, subscribe to my channel. This is a channel that we are building together. We just hit 3,000 subscribers last week. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the cousins. I love you guys. If you haven't already, pick a streaming platform of your choice and stream my brand new mixtape, The Prelude. It was what it was. I love y'all. Until next time, y'all hold it down.
You would call, stop by, let me know